Hello, Buckeye Prep Sports fans. We're on to our 2026 SEC game predictions. We're going to start with Alabama, probably one of the most notable teams in the SEC right now, of course. Nick Saban, it's been 3 years removed, I think. Yeah, I think it's been 3 years already since Nick Saban left. Kalen DeBoer, um, I want to say he's a good coach. I mean, he's a national championship level coach at Washington, and he's always been a solid coach, and he's led them to the playoffs. But you'll see this is probably one of the not as talented teams um, that Alabama has brought in the past couple of years. But I could be proven wrong. But just off of transfers and recruiting classes, I don't think this is up to the Alabama standard than comparing to Nick Saban. But that is a tough spot to compare to. So let's hop right into these predictions as they start off with Eastern Carolina. I think this is probably going to be one of the most easiest wins they have all year. I saw some post about ECU, um, and one of their players having a shotgun like up to the Alabama logo, like a not like an actual shotgun, but like imaging. I think this is gonna be a blowout. I expect like a 66-0 game or something like that. I don't think Eastern Carolina is gonna hang with Alabama one bit. Kentucky, this game is gonna be a lot closer than what people think. I would not be surprised if this is a 35-21 game or something along those lines. But I am taking the Crimson Tide. This was an upset last year in Tuscaloosa. No, sorry, not Tuscaloosa. Uh, Tallahassee. Sorry, got the T's crisscrossed. This year I'm taking Alabama. I think I was one of the few last year to actually see that upset, and that's only because how Bama's spring and a little bit of the fall I've seen um with Tommy Castellanos. Um, but once again, that Florida State team fell apart after that. I thought they were going to be a lot better. I thought they were going to be like a 9-3 team. Um, Especially when you project them to beat Bama, you think they're going to be better. But get that out the door. That's the past. Um, this has always been a close game, but I'm taking Bama again here. Mississippi State fans. I, I'll get to them when it gets to the preview and prediction, but I'm taking the Crimson Tide here. This is gonna make a lot of people mad, but I'm gonna take the Bulldogs here. I think Georgia's better than Bama this year. Um, Even on the road, I believe Georgia's just got a better team this year and overall a better rounded group. Um, that orange is looming right there. It's in Tennessee. I think it's a noon game. Yeah, it's a noon game. That game will always be rocking. Go Bama. Um, sheesh. This is also a very tough one. A&M on the road. I'll take Bama. I'll take Bama. Another tough one. They got a tough stretch right here. I don't think LSU is gonna be as well rounded as people think. They're gonna be a tough team. Not a big fan of Lane Kiffin, but I respect him as a smart head coach. Give me Bama. Give me Bama. I'm sorry, Vanderbilt. They're not as Diego. I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I respected him enough to know that Vanderbilt was a legit team, except in that Iowa bowl game. But Bama, Bama. I'm sorry, Auburn. And I'm sorry how easy that was. I'm gonna make a lot of fan bases mad with this entire prediction in general. But I have Alabama 11-1 with a chip on their shoulder. This is DeBoer's uh, last fighting year, and I know they're gonna come out swinging. Uh, disagree with me, make fun of me. I don't care. I'm gonna get all the heat from Bama fans if I can, um, or Georgia fans, or whatever fan base I tick off in this. But I have them 11-1 with their only loss being to Georgia at home. So we are on to Georgia. As you can see, I already made one pick that's gonna upset um the Alabama fan base. I am. It's, you can ignore the Ohio State stuff. I'm not a Ohio State fan. This is just from one of my family members. Um, and even though we're named Buckeye Prep, that was because we're in the Buckeye State. That's why I had that name. I am not a bandwagon fan. I grew up liking the Miami Hurricanes, and I've been through some tough years. And you guys might not like that, Georgia fans, because we had your quarterback last year that led us to a national championship. Oh well. I'm going to give you guys a really good, respectful prediction here. So, you might like me afterwards. Tennessee State win. West Kentucky win. Arkansas. This game will be a little closer than what people think, but give me Georgia. This will be a pretty good dogfight, but I think Georgia's got it in Athens. Vanderbilt is not as good as they once were last year without Diego. Even with replacements stepping up, I don't see them being more than like a 7-5, 6-6 team. Auburn is going to be respectable this year, but I don't see them rolling punches this early, especially with that young offense. I think is talented, but I don't know how even some of the best American Conference players are going to deal with swinging up to the SEC's Bulldog defense. Earlier I commented on in the Alabama video. I think they have got the edge this year, just on paper, and that's going to light a fire under Alabama's tush to win the rest of the season. Low spoiler there if you haven't seen the prediction. Georgia, give me there. I'm sorry, Florida's just way too young right now, and with the first year coach and everything, I don't see that making much of a change even with their transfers. Ole Miss is going to be really tough, but I think I'm going to take Georgia here. They always give a pretty good fight, especially with Trinidad Chambliss. I think this is going to be a shootout, but give me Georgia. Missouri, Missouri is going to give a pretty good fight, and this is going to be. This was the first coin flip game other than Ole Miss that I had in my head, and Bama. I think I gotta give respect to Oklahoma, but I think Georgia will end up being my 2 touchdowns. I don't think Oklahoma is as good as what people are saying. That's gonna take a lot of people off. So is this final stretch here. Um, South Carolina. Um, this is their last chance with that offense that they have. Even then, I don't think it's gonna be good enough to score a lot on that Georgia defense. Same with Mendoza's little brother. That offense is going to be a lot better than what people expect. But give me the Georgia Bulldogs and the victory, and going 12-0. Missouri Tigers. Um, this shall be interesting because there's been a lot of heat between these two teams. I can tell you who's winning this off the bat. Arkansas Pine Bluff is a FCS school that's not notably as good, but we'll get to the one loss I already have predicted for Missouri here soon. But Kansas is gonna be tough. But I gotta go with the Mizzou. Troy, they're gonna smoke the brakes off Troy. I don't think it'll be complete blowout. Mississippi State will provide a fight, and so will Florida. This will be a really tough game, but I have A&M here, along with the Ole Miss Rebels. I think this will be a lot closer of a game than what people expect. Um, I gotta go Missouri here. Texas is gonna be a playoff team this year, and I expect to be on the same level as Georgia. Give me Texas here. Um, Kentucky is gonna be a lot better than what people expect, but even though I don't think they're gonna be firing on cylinders, maybe they have. I mean, they have. It's tough to say because if you look at Oregon's first year a couple years ago, I don't know if I don't know. This one was a tough one, a lot tougher than what people expect. People would take Kentucky outright here, but I gotta go with the Missouri. Mizzou, I gotta go with Mizzou. Oklahoma's a playoff team, possibly, but I'm not as high as other people are on Oklahoma. I think they're gonna be in that 10 to 12 seed range this year for a playoff team. I don't think they're gonna be as good as last year, even with some of the transfers that have coming in. Matier was always a pretty good quarterback, and I would have loved to see him healthy for that Texas game last year. Give me the Sooners. That has Missouri Tigers at 7-5, 4-5 in conference. I really like Mizzou. This is not. You almost feel bad for predicting a team to not go as well as they would like to, but I mean, it's just a tough schedule. And I think they will have the talent one of these years to sneak into the playoffs. But I don't think this year is that year. Longhorns. Is it orange up, orange down? I think I did it wrong. That's my bad, Texas fans. Hopefully I win your respect back in this prediction. But you can ignore the Ohio State fan stuff behind me. That's all one of my family members. I won't be here too much longer. I am a Miami Hurricanes fan. Just let you know, so don't expect any bias. See, even though, even though it's Buckeye Press Sports, it's just named after the Buckeye State, Ohio. Anyway, let's actually hop into the prediction. Texas State win. This is going to be a really close game, but I think Texas gets their get back. Sorry, Ohio State fans. Texas. This is going to be a really close game. Give me Texas. I'm not as high on Oklahoma as most people. Both are coming off buys. This is going to be really interesting. I'm going to get a lot of Oklahoma hate because I'm taking Texas. I expect them to battle at this point, um, but not enough to conquer the Longhorns. I respect Trinidad, but I don't think Ole Miss is gonna be as high this year. I don't. You gotta respect them though, especially with the talent they have coming back with K1 Lacey and Trinidad Chambliss. This is really making me think, but I'm gonna take Longhorns here. Love you, Ole Miss, especially without Lane Kiffin now. Sorry about that. Mississippi State, Missouri win over Missouri. Missouri is gonna be a lot tougher, and probably I would say one of the toughest, like below double-digit win teams in the SEC this year. I don't want. This is the thing. I am. I'm sorry, Texas fans. I gotta say this. I am so tempted to pick LSU here, especially this late into the season. I'm sorry. I was like, I think I don't even like Lane Kiffin, but I gotta respect the team that he's built, and I think they're gonna be firing on all cylinders by this point in the season, especially at home. Give me the Tigers. Bounce back with a win over Arkansas and a win over A&M. This will be it will be a lot closer game than it was last year, but even then, I think Texas is going to be very motivated after that LSU game. So that sits the Longhorns at 11-1 and 8-1 in conference. Sweet old Rocky Top, Tennessee, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Please ignore the Ohio State crap behind me. Anyway, Tennessee football predictions 2026. You can ignore the record right now off the bat. I will get to a deeper explanation. Just ignore that the 3 losses even existed, but they have to be up there, sadly, or I'll lose my marbles. Anyway, blowout. This will be a really tough game. In Atlanta, Georgia. This is really tough. I'm gonna make Tennessee fans even more mad, but not on purpose. I swear this is not on purpose. I don't have anything against Tennessee Volunteer fans. One of my biggest friends in life is a Tennessee Volunteer fan. I grew up watching some of his games. Sorry. Even though it's in the Mercedes Dome, you're on a neutral field, somewhat neutral field, in Georgia, going against Mendoza and that offense. I should say Mendoza's little brother, but I think he'll be firing on all cylinders and be fighting with a chip on his shoulder, especially with the targets they have for that offense. Give me Georgia Tech in an upset. That'll be a blowout. I'm, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Texas is just a more well-rounded team. Tennessee picks up the win here against Auburn, a young Auburn team that will still putting daggers on their defense, I believe. I don't think Jim Knowles is that good of a DC as what they're going to think, and I'm very sorry. Arkansas is going to be a very young team, but with a ton of offensive potential. Give me Rocky Top. And this is the one that's going to make people the most mad. Roll Tide. I'm not a Alabama fan either, but I just wanted to say it. South Carolina, after a bye, at home. This could be dangerous, but give me Tennessee. This could also be dangerous after both teams are off buys. Kentucky team that will probably be more well-rounded. Give me Tennessee. Sorry, Vandy. They get their get back. 8-4. I just think they're a better overall team than Vandy this year. Sorry to sound like Kermit for a sec. 6-3 in conference. 9-3 overall. Have the Tennessee Volunteers. Okay. Calm down, Sooner fans. Ignore the Ohio State stuff or anything. It's not mine. And also ignore that record right off the bat. That's the one thing I hate about doing on this website, that it reveals it right away. But once again, I'm also grateful that this website exists. Shout out to playoff predictors. But anyway, I think Oklahoma's going to be a really good team, but they just face very tough opponents. I gotta say that off the bat before you guys start swinging at my throat. Sorry. Michigan fans. UTEP's gonna be a blowout. So is New Mexico. Not much to say there. This will be a dogfight because I think Oklahoma is probably the most physical team other than Texas. This is gonna be a lot closer than what people think. Give me the Sooners. I'm sorry, the Mississippi State Bulldogs are just being a SEC doormat this year. I'm sorry. South Carolina. I think they'll provide a fight, especially with how much experience they have on their offense. But I don't think that's going to be good enough to be over the Boomer Sooners. Florida's not there yet. A&M's going to be a really good fight. Playoff team last year. Sorry, Sooners. You get the win. I mean Aggies. 9-3 overall, 6-3 in conference. I could see them sneaking into the playoffs. I'm not as high on them as most people. Even with the transfers. Sorry, Sooners. I have you 9-3 this year. Well, it's a new era for Auburn. Probably won't start as hot as you would expect. But I think they're going to be good enough to surprise some people. I'll show you. Baylor. I think their offense is going to be pretty solid. And I think they'll be a good win off the bat. So will Southern Miss. I don't think Florida's going to have it figured out quite yet. But I think they have a whole bunch of talent. So don't go rushing after me. You guys start 4-0. Making that clear. But in this backstretch, I am so sorry. Let's have some of these games. We'll get to that later. Tennessee loss, Georgia loss, LSU loss, Ole Miss loss. Those are all potential playoff teams. Arkansas is going to be young, but very talented in the upcoming future. I would not be surprised if they have a good transfer portal class and maybe could sneak into the playoffs next year. I didn't say that. But anyway, Auburn there. Sorry, Bulldogs. And sorry, Bulldogs. this will be really close, but I have Bama in the Iron Bowl this year. 7-5. There's potential. There's potential there. But I don't know how some of those pieces from South Florida will translate to an SEC level of caliber football. I think you got an SEC level quarterback and a very young team. Sorry, Tigers. Let's go Gamecocks. That's the only time I get to say that, so I had to. This is probably the most easiest stretch right here off the bat. Win. Sorry, Bulldogs. Win. Not so easy. This will be a tough battle that they win at home. This is going to be a pretty good game between two offensive-minded coaches. I mean, these pretty much just playing themselves. Oklahoma, Tennessee, two potential playoff teams there, along with Alabama. I think is going to be a playoff team. Not a lot of people high on them just because of their roster, but I still think they're nowhere close to a Saban-led team, but they're going to be playing with a chip on their shoulder with a very talented quarterback that I think will win the QB battle. If not, I think maybe they've already declared the winner, but I'm pretty sure they've already sort of hinted to him, and I think he's a really good quarterback. Arkansas is going to be pretty young, but dangerous team. It always comes down to this. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I can't do that. I got to pick a outright winner. Sorry, Clemson fans. And it's not just because I'm a Hurricanes fan. I just don't think you guys have that caliber of a defense this year. Good linebacker group. But 7-5, 4-5 in conference. I mean, I can't really complain if I was a South Carolina fan. If you are complaining, sorry. Already, Vanderbilt fans, take a deep breath. I'm not going to say that you're going to be back to those days of not so glory. Either I'm going to say that you're going to be back to the Diego Pavia era, not area. That sounds weird. But breaking down the schedule, I have you guys 2-0 off the bat, if that helps. NC State's going to be a really tough team with Bailey. Sorry. So is Auburn. But you got Arkansas at home. No, you don't. Kentucky? I mean, Kentucky's always been a beatable team. Sorry. These are going to be blowouts. I'm sorry. I think you'll provide a fight in this game. And in this game, I think this is going to be a really close game. You will hear. Maybe. Yeah, sorry. I'm not a Vanderbilt hater. I like Vanderbilt. I've always have. Because I felt bad for him. But this is not a favorable schedule, and that is not a favorable team. I'm sorry. I I am very sorry. I am very sorry. If you want a little deeper explanation on some of the bigger games, I suggest watch the preview. Um, but I don't see you guys swinging like you did last year. I think you've regressed a lot. Um, and I don't expect Vanderbilt to be as par this season as the last couple. I'm sorry. You play in the SEC. I don't know what else to tell you. Sorry, Commodores. Before you yell at me, Gator fans, this is a very tough schedule. And I'm sorry, but you are starting off 2-0. There's that. But Auburn, that's going to be a tough road loss early. Ole Miss at home, road loss to Missouri, South Carolina. I'm sorry, it's still going to have a pretty good offense, but their record won't show it. Probably when I get to that. I mean, these are all playoff games. Playoff teams. You sort of pinning yourself in a bad situation in the Missouri. I think each and every single ones I am just pointing out here could make the playoffs. And this is a long dark horse, but maybe. But clearly, right now I don't have them as a playoff team, but they could flip at least 3 of those losses around. We'll get to that prediction here soon, but that's gonna make some Gators fan really ticked off. But at least Ivy beat Florida State. That leaves you with a 4-7. Oh, sorry, 4-8 record and 1-8 in conference. I am very sorry. Sorry, sorry, but you guys are young. You'll have time to develop 1 or 2 more transfer portal classes, and you don't know. Look at these Wildcats. Having a really tough schedule, I should say. Youngstown State, that'll be a win. Tough FCS school, though. Gotta respect the Penguins. Bama, and 2 playoff teams off the bat. You guys are gonna beat South Alabama, no problem. This is gonna be very tough, but give me Sellers here. I mean, the rest really explain themselves. Like playoff team, maybe playoff team, maybe playoff team. I don't know what to label Missouri, but they're definitely middle of the pack and probably one of the toughest middle of the pack teams I see in the SEC. Yeah, very tough schedule. I'm sorry, and it's not because I'm a Hurricanes fan. It just thinks. I just think. It just thinks. That they are going to be on a lot of high cylinders by the end of the season. Um, that leaves them 5-7. I'm not as high, clearly, on Kentucky as what some people think. I think they'll be a really good team next year. Maybe playoffs. Maybe. They only have to flip one game in my book to make a bowl game. There's that. This is the team I feel the most. If I was a Mississippi State fan going into the season and I had high expectations, I would lower them. Sorry. I like to be proven wrong, but I see them more as a doormat than anything else. you're in Minnesota on a week 2 matchup right off the season. Minnesota is going to be firing on all cylinders for a early non-conference game like that, especially at home. I think the rest explain themselves. It's going to be a very tough stretch of blowouts. Except Auburn. I think Auburn will fight, and maybe Mizzou. Uh, It'll be Tennessee Tech. Maybe you'll fight in the Egg Bowl. It's always decently close. 3-9, 1-8 overall. Sorry, Bulldogs. Let's go, Rebels. Hopping into our prediction for the Ole Miss Rebels. Very tough game off the bat. Fuck, give me a damn Rebels. This game was gonna be a blowout. Um, you see what I did there. LSU, I've discussed this. There's like no absolute way, in my heart, would I be predicting LSU to win that game. And that's not just because I'm biased against Lane Kiffin just a little bit, but the environment is going to be absolutely crazy. Also, give me the Ole Miss Rebels here. Vanderbilt is not the same as last year. They've lost a lot, tried to replace a lot. I don't think that's going to be good enough, especially after my week. I have them over Mizzou. That'll be a tough battle, though. Texas is going to be really tough. Give me them Rebels. Um, Georgia, also a really tough team. When it comes down to it, I think they're neck and neck. I think Montier is a really good quarterback, and so is Trinidad. K'Wan Lacey is probably the best running back in the country, other than Bo Jackson. Bo Lamar Jackson, I should say. Lamar Bo Jackson from Ohio State. You get the grift. Whatever order he puts them in, but we just call him Bo. I'm not an Ohio State fan, once again. Sorry, Sooners. No. Sorry. I have them 10-2, 7-2 in the conference overall. I think the Rebels keep on rolling towards the playoffs. I think they sneak into the playoffs. We'll see what the Sooners do. Look at these Razorbacks. I tell you what, it's a young team with a lot of potential, but I'm sorry. It's gonna be in Salt Lake too. That just makes me lean. Even without Whittingham, I think they're gonna still be a solid team. Tulsa home. You already know the explanation behind this one. I'm sorry. I don't think you guys had hopes for this or this or this to begin with. This one you definitely had hopes for, and you guys got it correct there. This will be a bigger battle, like I said before. Both teams coming off byes. This was really close in my head, but I had to go with the Tags. Gamecocks, their offense is still going to be pretty high up there. Not bad for a young team. 3-9. Sorry, Razorbacks. Not up to the potential quite yet, but I could see it in the next couple of years. Okay, I'm not complete Lane Kiffin hater. I have respect for his ability to coach. But this Lane Kiffin slowly turned into the next Brian Kelly for me, especially in the way he left. But I think they're better than Clemson. I respect what Clemson's doing with trying to ignore the transfer portal in some aspects. I know they have accepted some transfers, but as not as much as I thought they would. And this is like Davo's last swings here. They're gonna blow LA Tech out of the water. I'm not biased, but there. If I could put a percentage chance of who's gonna win this game, a night game in Ole Miss, even the Red Bulls. A&M's gonna be also a very good team. Um, poop. My nose feels wet. I feel like a wet dog right now. Ah, this is a coin flip, but I'm taking the Aggies. That's an easy pick. This is not so easy to predict. Kentucky at home, though. It's Kentucky at home. Sorry. Sorry. Mississippi State, you've been treated like a doormat, but I really, really respect your team, but uh, it's one of these games is gonna be like David like Goliath, and I'm gonna get him wrong. In the regular season, that's how it always goes. Uh, Sorry, Auburn. I respect you, but I just like even with the transfers coming over with Byron, but like I think you're like really young, and even transferring some of the best South Florida players over, I don't know how that's gonna relate to SEC play. I think you got an SEC level quarterback, targets, linemen up in the air. Rocket top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. That's a tough little back and forth there because you get Bama. I have them upsetting Texas, but they lose to Tennessee the next week. Texas fans are gonna hate me for that one. And I went over I think by this point, a well-rounded Arkansas team. Let's see where that puts them. 8-4. Sorry, but not Sherry. Uh, I think that's gonna be pretty accurate. I'm gonna get a lot of LSU fan hate from that, but that's around where I have LSU this year, even with all the transfers. Look at them Aggies. You're probably looking at that record, first of all, and before you get at my throat or call me a Ohio State fan. First of all, I'm not a Ohio State fan. I'm going to say this over and over again in each and every single one of my videos. This is just the best place to record. And the page is named after Buckeye State. I get that confusion a lot that I'm a Ohio State fan. I have members of my staff that are a big Ohio State fan, and that's also a good marketing target for any Ohio State fans to join my staff. Anyway, Missouri is actually a pretty good team, but I'm going to say they blow them out of the water, along with Arizona State. I don't think Arizona State's going to be as good as what people think, especially with losing a lot. Kentucky's going to be, it'll be interesting because if they can get off the ground faster than what Oregon did a couple years ago with Georgia, it'll be interesting. That's how I compare this right now. But give me the Aggies. Give me the Aggies here. Give me the Aggies there. Give me the Aggies there. I think their offense is better than all those defenses right there, even on the road. To give you a short explanation of it, if you want the full explanation of it, go check out those teams' predictions. This is going to be a blowout as well. This is one that's going to take people off as well. But I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to predict football games. When, sorry, Tennessee, when these are pretty explanatory. I'm sorry. This is going to make a lot of people mad. But in my book, these are pretty explanatory. I don't think they have the firing power to swing with Oklahoma, Texas, or Bama. I think Bama's going to be a lot better, even with the roster that they have. I know it's not as powerful as what people think, but I see the pieces fitting pretty good. So, that leads you to a 9-3 record, 6-3 in the conference. Currently, that will probably change, but it would be around sixth place in the conference.